habit of starting a couple moments late, so today I have decided to be bright and early here. Thank you for being with me. I'm Rose from Yoga for All with Rose. I have prepared, planned, cooked, put together an intermediate level Vinyasa flow class. And actually, I'm going to step back just a little bit so that maybe you hear me a little bit better as my mic is right here. So I have this class prepared for us. It is a very general approach to the body, but I wish to explore a little bit of internal rotation and external rotation in the arm and the shoulder. So that's kind of like a recurring theme that will float in and out. Thank you for being here, whether you're here live or if you're watching this as a replay. So at this point, I have been live streaming these Tuesdays for some time now, and I realized that I wanted to express to you that the place of yoga that I come from is this very body-friendly and self-compassionate place. So it really is important to me that you honor your practice and you honor your needs in your body. Since we're not sharing space, I can't be present with you in this moment. So I really invite you to listen to all the messages that your body and mind is telling you, and respect those and receive them without judgment. Sometimes in yoga culture, there is this high-flying, super achiever culture, and I have nothing against that. That's what I'm not here to say. But I just find that in my middle-aged body, that kind of practice is not the practice that calls me. What calls me more is the practice that we start from the inside out. And I always wish that you can do a mindful movement snack or a class with me here on YouTube and feel like you have recentered yourself. You have opened up your body. Your breathing feels a little bit more balanced, if you will. That really is my goal here. But without further, let me see. I think the sound should be good. So today we will start seated on the mat. I always love to sit on something. We will be using, so I'm jumping ahead of myself. So I like to use my kitchen mat that is rolled up. It could be a block. It could be a firm side pillow, sofa cushion. It could be even a book that's soft enough for your seat, or a rolled up towel. I invite you to try to have that available for you today. And we will actually use that in the very end of the class, again, as we do our supported bridge when we wind down. So we are going to start seated. We're going to do quite a bit of work on the floor level, going from down dog to and in all fours, but we do get up and do some standing poses, some balancing poses, and then we start coming back down again, and we'll end on our mat. Today, we will be doing some three-legged dogs, going into plank, going all the way to the belly, going into your up dog. And the reason why I like to define this class as intermediate really is that I am not telling you what are the steps to get to those places. So always be mindful of your body, and just remember that I wish that's already something that is in your practice so that you know how to do it safely in your body. Always modify. Always modify. That should be like our mantra. Modify for yourself in life, your body, your yoga, like Bernie Clark says. So, and I want to remind you, by participating, you obviously agree to do so at your own risk. So we will start on our mats. seated. And the reason why we sit a little bit higher up is so that our knees can be a little bit lower than the hips, which again allows the lower back to find its natural placement. And feel where your sit bones are today. Just really, maybe you shift your weight a little bit. Feel those bony pits, that those tuberosities that connect to the floor or what you're sitting on, and try to sit slightly in front of them. As we do that, we're not arching our back, but we're just allowing the back to come up. Come soft and tall above your pelvis, and find your rib cage above your hips, and then shoulders nice, wide open, chest, open heart, and gently tuck your chin down. And then let the chin not be pulled in, but just slightly turned down so that the very back of your head and the energy through your head can float free. And here to begin, I invite you to close your eyes, or maybe you turn your gaze down and inwards, and just start focusing on your breath, feeling the air float in through your nostrils, and air floating out through your nostrils. Feeling what it is that you bring to your mat today. And this is the first chance to ask yourself, what is it that you need in order to find balance in your day today? What is the opposite quality that you can bring to your energy, to your body, that will balance what there already is, maybe too much of? And now I invite you to join me for a brief Brahmari humming bee breath. And we shall do that by gently inhaling the right arm up overhead. And as you exhale, just hum the arm down. Synchronizing the length of the breath and the passage of the arm, inhaling the left arm up and humming the arm down. Let's repeat that to the right. Inhaling, feeling the expansion of the side body. Exhaling with a hum. Left side, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, both arms up. Feeling the ribs expand sideways, and now hum the arms down. Releasing any tightness in your chest, your neck, your jaw. Coming down with your hum. One more time, breathing arms all the way up, feeling the length in your spine as well as the openness in your side body. And then with your exhale, wonderful. And now I wish you to extend your arms to the sides and very gently just find the internal rotation on the sides. This is a very personal where it's going to end up in, but just like turning in as far as you can, your upper arm as well as your lower arm on your hand, and then opening the hands towards thumbs towards the back, opening the chest. And now with that internal rotation, gently find the expression of cat and cow, very mild version of this. So tucking the pelvis under, bringing the chin to the chest, and then gently opening the chest, maybe gliding the arms toward the back space as you lift your heart. Exhaling, rounding, internal rotation, finding that rounded spine. Inhaling, opening, finding that external rotation, playing with it, not static, more of a play. And now come to the center. And if you were crossed in your legs one way, cross the other way. And then repeat that internal rotation, rounded spine, like a C curve from your head to your sacrum. And then opening, rotating open, opening the chest, maybe lifting the chin. One more time, exhaling, rounding the spine. Inhaling, opening. And then come back to middle. Let's do a side body stretch, reaching the left arm overhead. And then my right hand is my support. I sort of reach into the far diagonal. And now let's do the same thing when you first turn the arm open. And then internal rotation. It might feel good to look down with that internal rotation. Opening the arm, maybe looking up. And playing with that internal rotation, whatever feels good in your body, not forcing it, more exploring. And then come back to the side, one maybe deepened expression of your side bend. And then let that long arm pull you up, float the arm down, reaching up again, really finding length. And from that length, you find your side bend. Let the first one be a little bit milder, really rooting down in your right hip. And now I invite you to play with the external rotation and internal rotation. Let the upper body follow if that's something that feels good to you. Not forcing it, finding your way. And one more internal rotation. And then finding maybe a little deeper expression of the side bend. And then letting that arm pull you up, long side body. And bring your arms to the sides, maybe 45 degrees. And turn in the arms, internal rotation. And then just place them on your lower back. So if I'm going to show you sideways, the backs of my hands are just resting on my lower back. So there's this, my elbows are to the sides. And then very gently inhaling, finding length in your spine, gently tucking in the chin. Bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. And breathe there. Opening the left side of your neck. And then rotate your head down, chin towards the chest. And let the back of your head lengthen. And then gently bring your head back to the middle. Lengthening the head, energy floating out, bringing the left ear towards the left shoulder. And it's very easy to have those shoulders run up. So just work with that. We've kind of placed them in a weird angle, but just try to let the shoulder blades glide down as much as possible. And then bringing your chin towards your chest. As you find a little bit of a stretch in the back of the head, heavy head looking down, and then rolling up with the head. Lovely. If you were sitting on something, just take whatever you had and put it to the side. Have it available for you later on. And now let's find our way to on our mat. So have the hands about a little bit less than a foot away from your seat. This really needs to be wherever you are. So my fingers are turned towards my seat, my pelvis. And let's just do a windshield wiper here. So I'm sharing the weight on my hands, my pelvis, and my feet. And then finding the feet up. Now take your right, actually, let's extend the legs. Fold your right over the left and gently bend into that. So this is a variation of our figure 4. If you feel tightness in your wrists, modify to your needs. But now let's do a little bit of a gentle rocking back and forth or side to side, really. Finding any juicy bits there and then coming to center. And now really pushing to your hands and try to lift your chest. Maybe your gaze floats up. So I'm pushing into the chest, trying to find that extension in my spine. And then gently let go of the left foot, right leg, left leg across, and bend it wherever feels comfortable for you. Keep the top ankle flexed as you go side to side. Just gently finding any juicy bits, maybe lingering there for a moment. And then come up to the middle. And now again, pushing into my fingers, all fingers, to the palm of my hand. And I'm lifting my chest, trying to open the chest. Maybe looking up, opening the chest, activating the arms. And then gently releasing the right foot, the left foot. Maybe shake them. Bend the knees again. Now we're going to do an internal rotation for the leg. I'm going to turn this way so it might be easier for you to see me. So keeping the arms in the same place. If you need to take a break, just do a little bit of shaking. It's pretty intense on my wrists at least. And then find them back behind you. And right leg, let your right knee sort of fall in and very gently placing the ankle, the foot on top, on the outside of the right knee, finding a little internal rotation in the right hip and kind of stretching that IT outer band side of the leg, gently releasing it up, switching legs, crossing the other one over. Maybe you just start without putting any weight on it and then add the weight if you're not used to this. Really feeling the internal rotation in that hip as well as the stretch on the side of the thigh. That's where I find it very juicy, but your experience might be very different. So just respect those messages again that come to you. And then come to center. And now let's just release everything. A little bit of a shake, bending legs, rolling over the knees. Find your way to all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Maybe you wag your tail a little bit. And let me make sure that I'm sort of aligned with the camera here. Yes, I think I am. All right, thread the needle. Raising the right arm, looking at the sky and gently gliding it across the floor, placing the right ear on the floor. Maybe you wrap the left arm over and around. If that feels inviting, maybe not. And try to keep the weight evenly distributed between your knees and your lower leg so that you're not collapsing on one side. Releasing the left arm, placing it next to your face, pushing into it, opening the chest, place the arm down. Left side. Inhale, reaches up. Exhale, glide it down directly across. Left ear on the floor, maybe wrapping. Note the internal rotation in the upper arm or in the right arm. And then paying attention to the weight that you're distributing on your lower legs. Breathing there, a little twist. Releasing the right arm if it was around your waist, and then gently pushing into it, opening the arm and coming back to all fours. Step the hands towards the corners of your mat, a little wider than your shoulders, and gently melt your heart down, maybe your forehead down. And breathe right there into the puppy pose. Activate your lower belly, gently pull it in and up so that you protect the lower back and don't collapse into the very lower back and sacrum area. And then with an inhale, glide your hands a little bit back so you find your all fours, doing any movement that feels inviting to you. Maybe we do a little cat and cow. Exhaling, rounding the spine. Inhaling, opening the heart. Exhaling. And inhaling. Couple more times with your breath. Finding your way. Lingering anywhere you need to linger. One more heart opening, and then just find your neutral spine. Let's extend the right leg behind us. And I'm going to turn my lower leg about 45 degrees, and I'm going to find that supported side plank. So shifting the weight however you need it to be. Finding that long body stretch from the right pinky to the tips of your fingers. Pushing the pelvis gently up. And then floating the arm directly to the sky, floating the leg. And now reach your arm behind you and bring it back. So I'm opening my chest to the back space and come back. Now bending the knee if that's comfortable for you. Reach behind the back space and maybe you get a hold of that foot. And then gently opening the chest, opening the front of the hip, opening the quad. A lot going on in here. And then gently releasing, finding that floating place again. Then look down and float the leg down. Maybe do one more calf stretch and bring that foot in. Extending the left foot behind you. Find a little calf stretch. Then turning the lower leg and find your supported side bend. I'm away from you now. But I really invite you to feel where your left pinky toe is and reach away from that with your fingers, pushing the pelvis up. Enjoying that lovely side opening. Float the arm up towards the ceiling and float the leg parallel to the ceiling. Note that your hand is really splayed at the supporting hand. And now just gently glide the arm behind you and come back to center. Glide the arm behind you, come back to center. Now maybe you stay there or you bend your knee, glide the arm behind you, and maybe you get a hold of the foot. Staying there, opening the shoulder, opening the front of the hip, even like the side of my abs feels like it's getting a nice opening feeling. And then gently letting go with control, reaching up and away, looking down, coming down, finding that calf stretch. Lovely. And all fours. Now I need to do something with this one because otherwise you're going to have this like trash bag over my head and you can't see me then. Okay, let's find a little bit of warmth. So tuck your toes under and take a little bit of a step with your hands forward. And we're going to come to our first downward facing dog. Please do so with bent knees and then raise your hips up. The reason why I like doing that is that it gives me a little bit of a deeper expression in my hips, in my hip crease. This is my first downward facing dog, and I'm going to choose to walk my feet a little bit. Really splay my fingers open. And now just gently bend your right knee and even put the top of your foot down on the mat and breathe here for a moment. So I'm kind of very, very gently giving a little bit of a stretch to the top of my right foot while I'm trying to extend the back of my left foot. Place it down, bending the left knee, lifting up the heel, and then maybe you place the top of the foot down on the mat and stay there for a couple of breaths. Gently pushing into the top of the metatarsals, the top of the foot, and trying to stretch the right side and then releasing that. Maybe you walk again. Now let's from here float to our plank pose. Just find the plank pose here and note that the fingers really should be splayed. And let's do a little bit of shifting work. So shift forward and back like I'm pushing with my toes so that my shoulder lining kind of goes above, further out than my wrists. Come back one more time and then find your dog. Lifting up the tail. Now float your right heel up. The pelvis is facing the floor and gently float your way to the plank. Come back up to three-legged dog. Float the leg down. Left heel floats up. Pelvis is looking at the mat. I'm not opening the left side of my pelvis. And then floating forward, shifting weight forward. And I like to keep my foot flexed here. Come up and float the foot down. Right heel up, and now finding the openness in that right side, opening the right hip, maybe even bending that foot. Lengthening it out, turning the hips facing forward or down again. Come to your plank. Maybe you point the toe, maybe you flex the toe. Yogi's choice. And now we're going to lower ourselves down any manner you are comfortable doing. Both feet down. Find your upward expression and find your down dog. This is the place where I invite you to do the variation that is most comfortable for you in your practice and in your day. Inhaling, left heel up. Opening the hip, external rotation. Maybe you even bend that knee. Finding openness. Reaching it back up, turning the hip closed. What I mean is parallel. I'm pointing my foot this time. Shifting forward to your plank. Going all the way down. Finding the foot down. Finding your upward expression, and then find your down dog. Lovely. Bring your knees down. Bring your big toes to touch, opening the knees and gently sink into your child's pose. Take a moment here. If your wrists feel like they are working a lot, maybe you do a little wrist circles. Anything that feels good in this moment. Maybe spider fingers. And then with your next inhale, come to all fours. And then we're going to work a little bit from all fours. So gently step your right foot to the outside of your mat. My both hands are in the middle. So a low lizard. And maybe you walk your left foot a little bit further behind you to get a little bit deeper into this pose, if that's in your practice. And just support it there, trying to find openness in the hips and a long line in my spine as I am using my arms here to be in this pose. Now I'm going to reach my arm forward. And I'm going to open it to the back. Now we're going to play. Turn the internal rotation to your arm and then external rotation to your arm as far as it go, and then bend the lower foot and see if those two can connect. See if you get a little deeper into the opening of the chest through this process. Opening, energizing, and then gently let go. Whew, here we are. And from here, I'm going to just simply step back to a child's pose. This time the legs are parallel under me. Take a moment there. Come back up. Tuck your toes under and find your dog. Maybe you walk the dog. Float to your plank. Lower all the way down the ways that is in your practice. Find your upward expression. And find your down dog one more time. And place those knees down. Step forward with your left foot next to the outside edge of your mat. Hands are in front of you. Maybe you walk that right foot a little further out, a little deeper into this place. You can also be on your tips of the fingers, or you can be, if you need a block for this, absolutely. Listen to yourself. And note, the sides are not the same. Symmetry is very rare on both sides. Finding this low lunge, and then try to find the whole right hand on the floor, reaching the left over and behind you. And now find that internal rotation, and then external rotation. And from that place, maybe you bend the lower leg and open, gently kicking into the hand, opening the chest, tucking the chin slightly so that you have the length in the back of your head. Enjoying this, sinking into it, and then gently letting go, coming forward. And now we're going to push our way to the child's pose again, finding a really nice soft spine. And then coming forward, tucking toes under, finding your downward facing dog. Floating forward with an inhale, exhaling all the way down. Inhaling, finding the back bend you wish. And exhaling, finding your down dog. And come up to your tippy toes. Gently bend them. Look at your thumbs and step or hop to the end of your mat. Now gently halfway lift. Exhale, bend your legs. Let's do that again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, round the spine. And now hold on to the opposite elbows and see if you have availability to straighten your knees. Hanging in your forward fold. And then gently place your hands on the floor if that's available to you, bending deep into your knees. And now we have an unusual passage. Take a step back with your right foot and come back to where you were. Take a step back with the left foot and come back. So we're kind of finding the runner's lunge here. One more time. And come back in. And now we're going to stay on this side. So the left side behind us, come up to your high crescent lunge. From here, tilt forward, hover forward, shift your weight forward, find your warrior three. Bend the knee, float the arms overhead, and straighten the standing foot or knee. Bend the knee one more time and gently bring your toes back to the floor. Come up to your high lunge. Exhale, frame the foot and shorten your stand a little bit so that you find a pyramid. Inhale, lift toes up. Exhale, place long toes down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Now we're going to inhale and lift the back heel up. Exhaling down. Inhaling the back heel up. Exhaling it down. Lovely. Bending into that knee. Come to your runner's lunge. Step to your plank. Lower all the way down. Upward expression. Downward expression. Come up to your toes. Look at your thumbs. And find your way to the top of the mat. Halfway left. And come down. Step back with your right foot. Runner's lunge. Step back where you were. Left foot steps back. Come back in. One more time. Let's stay here now and find your crescent lunge. Feeling the front of the hip lengthen. And then tilt and hover forward. Long line from your back heel to the top of your head. I need to remember to tuck my chin a little bit. Shifting weight forward, folding the foot up, forming a T, warrior three. Oh, it's wobbly on this side for me. Bending the front, standing knee and reaching arms overhead. Straighten the standing knee. Bending the knee and gently placing the right toes up, down while the body comes up. Framing the foot. Shift your weight forward and find your parallel pyramid. Inhale, lift the left toes up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now we're going to lift the right heel up. Gently push it down. Right heel up. Gently push it down. One more time. Inhaling the heel up. And gently place it down. Now bending into your front knee. Runner's lunge. Plank pose. Lower yourself to your belly. Find your cobra or any upward expression. Exhaling, finding your downward facing dog. Coming up to your toes. Look at your thumbs. And at the end of your exhale, step or jump forward. Halfway left. Exhale down. Keep your hands on your lower leg. Glide them up as you come all the way up, reaching your arms overhead. Maybe finding a little bit of a back bend here. Exhale, bring the hands to your heart. Close your eyes for a moment. Inhaling, exhaling, feeling the heart. Gently opening your eyes. At this point, I have to take off my shirt. Sideways on your mat. Please find your way to a wide stance. This can be a little bit less wide than usually. So normally I want to have this super wide position. As a dancer, as a modern dancer, I always want to be low and big and reaching and far. This is maybe a little bit more conservative. So here I am. As you can see, my wrists are on the outside of my feet. Now, lift up the right toes and turn them to the right end of your mat. This is the crucial part that I do not have an answer to in your body. We are going to find our triangle, an extended side angle, whether that foot stays like this, or whether you turn your heel a little further out, which creates this little bit of an internal rotation, is based on your body, the openness of your hip, and the situation of your sacrum. My sacrum is so much happier if I turn my heel out just a little bit. Let's place both hands on our hips, tilting the hips so that the left one is a little higher than the right. And now we're going to work on a little bit of holding this pose. So make sure that you're firmly planted into your big toe ball mounts, lifting up the kneecaps, not overextending business so that it becomes uncomfortable. To extend that arm up. So this is like a high triangle, if you will. And from here, reach the arm overhead. Now feel that external rotation as you bring your elbow towards your waistline. Reach overhead again. So that 2 more times, external rotation with the bent elbow. And come up. I really need to push into especially that front big toe. And then coming down and reaching overhead. Now let's bring that arm towards the sky. Again, I am not sinking anywhere. I'm just hanging out here. Now I'm going to reach into the back space like we did earlier and come back to middle. Reach to the back space. Come to middle, opening the chest here. Come to the back space, close in those belly muscles and ribs in business. And from here, we're going to internally rotate the arm and bring the back of the hand to the lower back. Now, we're going to gently look at the toes and come back to middle or all the way up. Looking at the toes. So now our cervical spine is doing the rotating. One more time. Looking to the side or all the way up. And then let's all look at our toes on the right. Bend into that knee. Lift up your toes. Place the toes down. Make sure that your kneecap is going directly in the right direction, which is the second and third toe. Knee over your ankle. And look, I'm already putting my arm right there. Reaching, we're here already in the internal rotation. Let's do the same thing here. Feel the extended side angle pose in the bottom of your, in the bottom register, and looking down and looking up. Feel how that feels different. Looking down and looking up. One more time, looking down. Now we're going to stay up and we're going to extend that arm to the sky. And we're going to visit that back space. Come back in. Note that you should stay connected to your lower belly as you reach back and come back up. One more time. A lot going on here. Static hold as well as opening. And now we're going to go overhead and bring that elbow down in your external rotation and reach overhead. 2 more. Inhaling, elbow down, reaching overhead. 1 more time. And then find your side angle, reaching, finding that lovely side body stretch. If you need to go a little deeper into it, by all means. Breathing there. Then looking down, bring your hands to the front, to the inside of your foot, and find your low lizard here. Just a moment, resting the hips down, pushing to your hands. Find your child's pose. And with an inhale, float forward. Find your toes under, lift your tail. Inhaling the heels up, looking at the thumbs at the end of your exhale. Step or jump forward. Let go of your head. Halfway lift. Come down. Halfway lift, and then keep going. And then reach the arms overhead. And bring the hands to your heart. Closing the eyes for a moment. Gently opening the eyes. Opening of the mat. Finding that a little bit more conservative straddle. So that's a funny way to express it. I'm not trying to place any judgment here. I'm just like, normally I would be here. So to give you an idea, this is what I'm trying to find, a little bit shorter, a little bit more under myself, okay? Hands on my hips, lifting up the left toes, pointing them to the left end of my mat. What we do here is your exploration. This is the only thing I can do without being in the same space with you. For me, lower back happiness comes from me turning that out, although I'm pretty wide and open in my hips, pushing into the big toes as well as the whole foot, lifting up the kneecaps, finding the tilt in your upper body, activating the core, reaching the arm over. And let's start overhead. External rotation, bring the elbow down, reaching up. Elbow down, reaching up. One more time, elbow down, really feel that external rotation, and then reach it up. Come to the ceiling, opening the chest, connect to your front, and back. I like to inhale here and exhale back, but that's up to you at this point. Internal rotation, place the hand on the back of your head, on the small of your back, looking down, maybe looking up if that's not too, it's a little tight for me in my chest, in my neck on this side, so I'm going to keep my gaze to the middle, looking down, looking up, or middle, looking down, looking up. Now look down, bend into your front knee. Check the direction of your kneecap over the second and third toe. Knee over the ankle, and rest your arm there. Internal rotation, looking up, looking down. I have a lot more mobility in this version. And look down. Really look up and feel that internal rotation in your upper arm. And look down. Now looking up, stay there and reach the arm up. Visit the back space. Come back to ceiling. Visit the back space. Come back to ceiling. Floating, reaching far, like a little flow here. And then overhead. Really feel how that changes, shifts this position. External rotation, elbow down, reach it overhead. And always play with your gaze in this one, the direction of your nose. 3 times. Static work with flow. And then stay in your extended side angle. I like to go to my ankle to find a little bit more length. Reaching far. And then looking down, placing both hands down, placing the right knee down, finding that low supported lizard for a moment. Pushing into your hands, find your child's pose. down. Next inhale, float you back. Tuck your toes. Find your dog. Come up to your toes. And at the end of the exhale, step or float forward. Let go of head. Halfway lift. Come down. All the way up. Arms up. Hands to your heart. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more exaggerated inhale. And an exaggerated exhale through the mouth. And now let's come to the middle of the mat. I want to do a little bit of balancing work before we head down. So bear with me. And that is all funny in relation to this. In the middle of your mat, whether you're facing the short end or the wide end, it does not. This is yoga's choice. Shift your weight to the right foot. Feel that you are taking on your weight with your right as the standing leg. And pull your knee towards your chest. Try to drop the left hip down as much as possible so that it's not riding up. Just gently let it drop down. Right hand on the left knee. Flex your ankle if that feels good to you. And now I actually have to turn sideways so you can see my shenanigans. So let's first just extend the arm behind us. Really feel your core activated and spine tall. Now internally rotate the arm and look forward. Externally rotate the arm and look behind you. Let's do that a couple times at your own pace, balancing, shifting the gaze between front and back with the internal and external rotation of the arm. And looking back. Now, bring that arm back to that knee. And now I need to turn again. Both here. Open it to the side. Reach out with the opposite arm. And now bring your heel as close to your seat as possible and find your tree pose by pushing your inner thigh to your foot. Maybe the hands come to heart center. My tree is very wobbly today. Maybe the arms come up. But really focus on the center line and the expression of inner thigh pushing into that knee. Now gently glide the knee towards the front. So what that looks to me is from this expression to this expression. And see how your lower back feels. Then gently releasing that foot, crossing it over the right knee and finding your standing pigeon. Hands at the heart, long spine, gently pushing your seat to the back. Float it all up, squeeze that knee one more time in and place it down. Now shake your legs. That was a long sequence for the standing leg, kind of on purpose. So just trying to get some strength there. Hip width apart, shift to the left, prepare to take on the weight on the left foot. Pulling the knee wherever it's comfortable for you, where it wants to come. Dropping the hip down. Maybe you shake it a little bit. And then we're going to have the left arm on the right knee, opening the arm to the back. Internal rotation, look forward. External rotation, look back. Internal rotation, look forward. External rotation, look back. Lovely. Bring both hands to the knee. Open it to the side. Bring the lower leg as close to the thigh as possible and find your tree. Now, inner thigh pushes into the foot. Balance. Maybe you find your arms wherever your tree wants to be today. And then gently glide your knee towards the front. So it's kind of in a diagonal line here, and see if that creates less space, less pressure on your sacrum and your very lower back. Food for thought. And then crossing it over left, finding your standing pigeon. And remember, the wobbles are great, man. They strengthen our ankle. It's absolutely okay. And from there, gently floating up, finding that knee to the chest one more time, and place it down and shake, 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 shake. Lovely. All right, let's find our way to the straddle again. So that wide expression. And now turn your toes to the corners of your mat and bend your knees so you find your goddess pose. And here I invite you to sort of shift side to side, finding a deep expression of this goddess. Maybe you find your cactus arms, connect to your center. I invite you to close your eyes if that feels like something you would enjoy. Challenging your balance for a little bit. And then we're going to exhale, and with an inhale, float your heels up and down. Float your heels up and down. One more time. Float your heels up and down. And now just forward fold and find your Skandasana pose. Sideways. Bring your hands a little bit more forward. So you take a little bit of your weight on your hands. And then walk to the other side. Opening the inner thighs here a little bit. Going to one side. Going to the other side. And then come to the middle. And now heel toe your feet a little bit more under you so that you find your way to your expression of yogi squat. Pulling up your pelvic floor. Opening, deepening into this. It's going to look different for all of us. Aim to have your heels down as wide and as high as your pelvis must be. Bringing the hands forward. Take your weight and shift down. And here, let's find our Janu Sirsasana. So bend your right knee to the inner thigh or to the lower leg if that's more calling to you. Feel your seat on the floor, leg in the forward, foot forward, toes up, and reach the arms overhead. And then with a tall spine, lean your heart forward. And then round your spine, bringing the arms to the sides of your foot or leg. And let's find a little soothing forward fold right here. Breathing deeply, directing the breath to the back side of your body. Softening the heart, softening the jaw, letting the head be heavy. And then gently let your hands bring you up. And we're going to switch sides. So right leg in front of you, left against the inner thigh, or it could be lower too. Play with that. Both sit bones down, reaching arms overhead, reaching far, leaning forward with your heart, like you're trying to, kiss your toes maybe. And then as you can't go any further, gently folding forward, softening the head. And now breathing space to the backside, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the eyes, feeling heavy in your body. And then gently just walk your hands up, let them bring you up. And then let's have legs in front of you. And just find your version of Dandasana, staff pose. Maybe your arms reach the floor, maybe your arms are shorter and they don't. Maybe you're on your fingertips, but pull in your lower belly. If you have a very tight situation in the hamstrings, feel free to bend your knees a little bit. And from here, reaching the arms overhead and then rolling down as slow as you can, one vertebrae at a time, all the way down on the floor. And now gently bring your knees up and do the windshield wiper. We did this in the very beginning of the class. Now we're doing it on the floor. And now let the knees come to one side and push your way up. I totally forgot to ask you to take your padding or your prop with you. So have that available to you as you lay down. And take your padding or your prop and gently lift your pelvis and place it under your lower back so that it's on your lower back, your sacrum. And then bring your right knee towards your chest, extending the left. A nice little opening in the hip. Bend the left. Bring the right down. Let's reverse the order. Gently pulling the left knee in and then extending the right foot or right leg. And then bring the right knee down, left foot down, and right knee to meet it. And here in this supported breaths, just gently open your arms overhead. They might be on the sides, they might be right overhead or a V. What we really want is your chest to open. And pause here for a moment. Just turning towards your breath. Feel any changes in your body, in your mind, in your energy. Receiving all the messages without judgment. What is, is. And then gently glide your arms back to connect them to your pelvis and lift one leg up and then the other leg up. And we find a little supported fountain pose here. If you need to do any adjustments with your prop, please do. Make sure that you are comfortable where you are. Option to have the arms to the sides, or even if it felt good to have them overhead, you might return them there. Breathing, softening, preparing for our final resting pose. And then when it feels like the right timing for you in this moment, gently bend those knees towards your chest. Place the feet down. Push into those feet and lift the pelvis up to a small bridge. As you are in that bridge, gently remove any padding that you had underneath you and really feel you push into the feet. Maybe you clasp the hands under you. Maybe you walk one shoulder and then the other under you. And maybe you stay there for a moment. Breathing, softness in the top part, and then gently, if your hands were tight, letting go of them and rolling the spine down. Maybe bringing the knees to your chest, rocking, or doing circles, whatever calls you in this moment. And then do any housekeeping that your body asks you to do before we settle in Shavasana. And when you are ready, gently extend one leg and then the other leg. Maybe you sway your hips side to side a little bit to find that softness, extending the arms a little bit away from your body. As always, if this does not vibe with you today, you can always do constructed rest by bending the knees and letting your knees come in. That's another great option for Shavasana. And then closing your eyes, and then turn your gaze into your body. Let's start a little body scan from our toes, feeling all 5 toes, the sole of the foot, the ankle, the top of the foot, your lower legs, your calves, your knees, your thighs, front and back and inside, your hips, soft belly, lower back, middle back, upper body and shoulders, chest and neck, upper arm, lower arm and hands, palm of the hand, elbows, shoulders, the front of your neck and the back of your neck, heavy head, scalp, feeling the inside of your mouth, softening the jaw, feeling the inside of your ears, softening your eyes, softening your scalp, and taking a moment in stillness and silence, letting go, and cultivating this sensation of wholeness, of well-being in all your body. I will guide you back after a few moments. When you feel ready, gently finding a little bit of movement in your fingers and toes. Maybe deepening the inhale and letting the exhale out through the mouth. And when it's the right timing for you, gently finding your way to one side in a little fetal pose. Taking a deep breath of gratitude here for our life. And then let your arms, your hands push you up. And find your comfortable seated pose, whatever that looks like. Bring your hands to heart center any way you wish. Bring your gaze down. Take a moment to honor yourself, your practice. Honor the life and all the things that are good in this moment. Sensation of well-being and wholeness. I thank you for letting me guide you through this practice. I hope it brought joy and peacefulness to your mind and body. It is my honor to offer you these accessible, inclusive classes, yet in intermediate level. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Be well, do well.